So it might be important to know, since our history didn't tell us, and they should have, that Benjamin Franklin, well, he wrote many letters, but there were 6 in particular that he wrote that I found on foundersarchive.gov, that he wrote regarding a Captain John Trump. Has anybody heard that name? I haven't. Maybe other people have. I certainly haven't heard Epoch Times mention this man. I didn't hear about it in history, but then of course the teachers in grade school, they're just going off the history they learned. And as I've said before, the millennial generation was taught a completely different history, and our disgraceful, no moral compass universities and professors in this country don't seem to know this because they're so programmed in hate. And none of the Washington politicians on the left or the right seem to know about a Captain John Trump that in 6, I think it was 5, 6 letters even, that Benjamin Franklin mentioned. Go to archives.gov or founders.gov. And the reason this is rather important is because I'm sure it's the same family lineage. Now, your news or your university professors would say, no, it's a different Trump, because they'll find anything to rip on him because they're full of hate. They're hateful, hateful people, and they hate this country. Now, before I go on, they'll become this point where I'm going to get taken off of everything because the way the Biden administration is going at it, and all of your experts of universities whose never get removed because they're just good little program jackasses. And I'm not saying that in a swearing kind of way. That's the symbol of their party, right? Is a jackass. A perfect symbol they picked, by the way. But they'll never get removed because they say all the right things they're supposed to say, except the problem is it's not the truth. So while the liars in the White House and in Washington on the right and the left, and all our media, including Epoch Times, that's never mentioned to Captain John Trump, continue to try to lead people on a lie path to somehow make you think one thing when really it's not the truth. They're going to start removing people like me who are speaking the truth, who are standing up for the country, just like they've taken many people off. You have to ask yourself, the ones that do get to still stay on YouTube or haven't had strikes against them, they likely haven't because even if they sound like they're saying the patriotic things or the things that you want to hear, if they haven't been removed, then it's probably because they work for the other side. They're just jackasses in conservative clothing. But given that Benjamin Franklin wrote about Captain John Trump many times, is a rather important thing to know. And yet, none of our media, including Epoch Times, has ever mentioned this. Trump's whole family, his lineage is in protecting this country and standing up for this country. I doubt there's anybody more patriotic than Trump, actually. I mean, there's a lot of patriotic people, clearly not as many as there should be because of the Synagogue of Satan universities that train people to become programmed fools. But there's definitely a lot of patriotic people for sure. But he's probably one of the biggest. And given that his family has done things to protect this country, not just Donald Trump, but it's in his family lineage, it's even more of a disgrace why the media has failed to report on any of this. So I posted these on Safe Chat and Parler, several letters, I screenshotted them from foundersarchive.gov about and highlighted the parts he had written to Robert Hunter Morris, Benjamin Franklin did on January 14th, 1756, and he talked about Trump and Ashton. These were captains and their companies, like the men under them. Trump and Ashton had made slow progress in building the first fort. So this goes to these Franklin forts, they refer to them as. So I'll show a picture. But here's a little bit about Captain John Trump that was in from Robert Hunter Morris writing back to Benjamin Franklin. He did a paragraph for several different captains, and the one that was Captain John Trump, says this. Captain John Trump led his company out of Upper Dublin, 15 miles north of Philadelphia, on December 17th. In Easton until the 26th, he moved via Nazareth to the Delaware Water Gap region to help in building Fort Hamilton and to reinforce the strong point at Depoy Farm. Ordered by Franklin to begin building Fort Norris, Trump led a detachment to Nazareth December 31st to get bread and then assisted in the building of that fort. He passed through Nazareth again February 18th on his way home. On being mustered out of the company, received it says E-228-17S-2D pay February 26th. Trump was later captain of a militia company at the Germantown Review of the Philadelphia Company Regiment, May 18, 1756. So now what's confusing to me, and this may be that big tech just didn't want people to know about Captain John Trump, because God forbid they shine any positive light on Donald Trump, even though there should be much paid to him. But since they're all in their hate, maybe big tech changed the name here because regarding these Franklin forts, Benjamin Franklin was behind these forts. Benjamin Franklin traveled to the area to choose personally Fort Norris's precise location. The fort was to be positioned centrally between Fort Hamilton in present-day Stroudsburg to the east and Fort Allen in present-day Weesport, Carbon County to the west. Franklin chose 3 captains to oversee the building of Fort Norris. Captain Trump was sent from Fort Hamilton, and Captains Ornt and Hayes were sent from Fort Allen. It was Franklin's hope that this new fort could be built in a week or 10 days, weather favoring, and that the completion of Fort Norris would finish the line of forts defending Pennsylvania's frontier. The construction of Fort Norris was not only viewed as a necessity, but its location was symbolic. Near the site where the fort was to be built, 11 members of the Hoyt family had been attacked and murdered by American Indians. The once great frontier forts built at the direction and under the supervision of Benjamin Franklin have become a chapter in Pennsylvania's history. Once Fort Norris and the other 3 Monroe County forts, Fort Hydeshaw, Fort Depoy, and Fort Hamilton, were abandoned, they began to disappear from the landscape. The once formidable walled structure that had been surrounded by deforested land became overgrown and were eventually reclaimed by nature. This is only a brief history of one of the frontier forts in present-day Monroe County. So, they probably weren't taken care of because what do we have in Washington? We just have, they're reptiles. Not literally, but they only care about themselves. They don't care about the history of our country. They don't care about protecting our country. That's why they're running around saying that people that support Trump or people that are MAGA are they're dangers to society, and why they have the pedophile FBI agency. People that protect pedophiles are pedophiles, in my opinion. Or maybe they're just getting paid a lot of money, but does it really matter? They're still losers. Anyway, none of these people, along with your Satan Synagogue universities, stand up for this country. They stand up for everything that's against this country. That's what they do. But we should have been told about this, and yet, so big tech is really, I call into question because of this. So I'll show a picture of this one of the forts, or 2 of them in a minute. For the Fort Hamilton marker, the inscription, one of a chain of frontier forts of the province of Pennsylvania in the French and Indian War, erected under the direction of Benjamin Franklin, stood hard by to the rear extending across 9th Street. Built January 1756 by Captain Levi Trump. But see, in Benjamin Franklin's letters, it says Captain John Trump. So why is it saying Levi Trump here? I don't think it's I guess it could be 2 different, but I don't think so. Not based on Benjamin Franklin's letters. So what is big tech doing? Well, they're lying. They're commies. They're also from the Synagogue of Satan. So built January 17th, 1756 by Captain Levi Trump and garrisoned by Captain John Gregg and 41 men. Later commanded by Captain Nicholas Weatherhold, who on April 7, 1757 was succeeded by Captain John Van Etten, and upon his death in the month of July, Lieutenant James Hydeshaw was placed in command. This says erected 1930 by Pennsylvania Historical Commission and the Monroe County Historical Society. And here is a picture. Can't see what it said. You can look it up online though. But it says, for the site that I went to regarding Fort Hamilton, it says Captain Levi Trump. But in the historical records, it says Captain John Trump. So all the people that are saying I'm lying or give me strikes and take me off, like I'm on a timeout from my other channel right now because of the commies of YouTube, they're the ones that are lying. And then here's Fort Norris. So I think it's probably important history to know, in my opinion. And for all of those, overeducated, jackass professors in the country, and many others, not just them, there's so many jackasses, that call Trump a narcissist, this is proof. What I'm going to read here is proof of how what they say is actually them projecting themselves onto him. Fort Trump was a proposed United States military base in Poland. The name Fort Trump was initially suggested by the Polish government as a name for the facility. However, officials of the Trump administration requested a different name be considered due to the concerns the proposal could be perceived as a personal vanity project for the then President of the United States, Donald Trump, and not a serious military proposal. So see, all of those jackass professors, and it's all of them in the country, and at the Satan Synagogue universities, and all your media, all these people that push their hate and say that Trump's a narcissist, that right there alone, not to mention so many other things, just proves how they themselves are the narcissists. Like I said in my video a few days ago, they don't have enough insight into themselves. Otherwise, they wouldn't say the things they do. A moral compass will not come from the university. It won't come from you having a bunch of money. It will not come from you being some expert. Actually, all the people that consider themselves experts, they really have no moral compass. In my opinion, most of them, they don't. And so they have become so expertise in their head that they think, oh, well, I can just call this person a loser, this person a narcissist, while I continue to destroy the fabric of freedom, while I continue to think in my mind that I'm protecting freedom. That's how stupid they are. That's why I call these people stupid. I really am not a mean person. I know I come off really intense, but I don't think it's fair what's going on to Trump at all. I don't think it's fair. I mean, I think most people know that, but it's even worse reading this stuff because his family line goes back to protecting this country. So, and they've kept that. Again, they're keeping history from us that we deserve to know. And yet he hasn't told us. So for all those people, not as far as I know, so for all those people that want to say he's such a narcissist, well, I would think that he would want to rave about this because it's his family. But he hasn't, has he? No, because he's not a narcissist. But everybody that calls him one is. And to be quite honest, okay, everybody has some narcissism in them. It's actually somewhat normal. It's not a great thing to have, but everybody has some of that. But it's those that continue down that path, and the ones that I see down that path that just they're hateful people. All your professors, such hateful people, and really they never got to know themselves. That's the problem with the overeducation. The nursing of magnet. That's why they don't accept me. It wouldn't matter what I did. I could be raved by patients left and right, and it's still, they wouldn't see that as good outcomes because they only look at education. They're that racist. So, and the problem is when you spend that long in the universities, you don't ever get to know yourself. The most important thing you want to know is yourself. And none of these people that make these statements and accusations at Trump, they don't know themselves. They have no insight. So, and this whole not telling us about Captain John Trump even more confirms that. So, Donald Trump's history, his family line, has been everything patriotic about this country. And yet, what has this country, or the people, not all of them, but many of the people that are definitely overeducated, have done in this country to that mostly the most patriotic person in this country? What have they done to him? They've tried to ruin him. So what does that say about them? Well, it says they don't know themselves very well, or they're enemies to this country. And it also says that's why they're in the Jackass Party. They picked the perfect animal.